Nowadays, everything's so happening.
My charisma and compassion extend to you all as you listen to this unfortunate award show that is about to take place. Welcome to the first, possibly only, in fact, probably only, Wheels, FBM, and Others award show. I am one of your hosts, the much more dashing and the much more charismatic FBM. With me tonight,
I'm Wheels, and I am proud to say that this show will feature 100% less teabagging than the VGAs.
Man, you say that as though we won't have any teabagging. This
I was
full of teabagging.
I promise teabag.
I don't know, you can't see it right now, audience, but I am crouching up and down very quickly.
Sure.
But before we get to things that are actually good, and before we get to the inevitable many commercial breaks, I must start by giving out things that are meant to shame people. Because
we haven't introduced our other guest yet.
Yeah, but our other guest is mostly just giggling at this point.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, I shouted on Sheridan. I think that's enough.
Yes. He's General Sheridan. We transported him from very far in the past. He's still kind of trying to work out Skype. It's a very strange situation.
What is a Skype?
Skype is anything you want it to be, especially if you're Microsoft, where you integrate it into many other programs.
But I watched Phil and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It showed me how to react in the modern era.
Oh, man.
So to be excellent to each other and party on things.
Party on, Sheridan.
General Sheridan, kill some engines.
Hey, let's not bring up the engine.
I've brought this to a delightfully racist.
Shall we take a quick commercial break?
Sure.
Okay.
Now a word from our sponsors, Pac-Man Cereal.
As long as they're racist commercials.
You can do it. You can do the Pac-Man cereal. Do the Pac-Man, the Pac-Man marshmallows. You can open wide. Gobble up the ghosts that are hiding inside. Marshmallow, orange, red, pink, and blue. Gobble up good 'cause they might shock you. You can do it. You can do the Pac-Man.
Packed with marshmallows and corn pops, Pac-Man cereal is part of a well-balanced breakfast.
You can do it. You can do the Pac-Man.
You can do the Pac-Man cereal. Okay. There should be enough space there for Wheels to cut it in if he has any audio editing capability at all.
And I do not, but I'll figure it out.
You can put this up on the day the VGAs go up.
That's true. Shall we start with the bad awards, because it's always good to get the bad out of the way before the good.
Yes, we want to get rid of as many advertisers as possible from the beginning.
That's true.
But let us start with the game that I listened to Wheels play for at least 15 or 20 hours, and which seemed to define him as a person more than any other.
But what is this award we're speaking of?
Oh, this award, good sir, is the game that most drove someone to drink.
Ah, yes.
Wheels is now an alcoholic. He's been in that program for entirely too long at this juncture.
Hold on, I need to take a sip of my bourbon.
Wheels, you aren't going to improve if you keep doing that.
Over from step one.
I thought one of the 12 steps was to, take it slowly, slowly cut out the alcohol.
Yeah, well, you're still drinking bourbon, and that's pretty alcoholic.
Is it?
Sort of.
Oh, I guess I should read the bottles on these things, huh?
Jack Daniels. Wait, no. We decided that the winner in this was Sweet Sweet Booze.
Yeah.
Mostly because I deferred to him, and I don't drink, so that's what happens.
Well, let me tell you what sort of alcoholic beverage sponsored this award, which would, of course, be P. Diddy's brand of vodka. I forget the name of it, Ciroc or something, which is quite tasty, especially if you mix it with, some nice cheap Coke or something like that.
Please tell me that this is not something you're saying from experience.
I
Please.
plead the fifth.
Sweet Christmas. Did you at least get it for free?
Yes.
Oh, okay, fine.
I did not. I will tell you that I did not buy a bottle of the stuff that a in-law happened to.
Did you cut off ties with the person that gave it to you?
Of course not. As you may learn someday, it is impossible to cut ties with in-laws because they're at all the holiday parties.
In any case, let us, before we drift too far into Wheel's crippling alcohol dependency, let us move on to worst action game.
But wait. Oh, no, that's fine. We're going to say what game we were actually just talking about slightly further on. Continue.
Yeah, because it's the winner of many awards. But let us move on to worst action game. Now let's leave this. Let's just put this on the table. Originally, we couldn't actually even remember any action games that came out this year.
I said 2, and that was from
Yeah, my original vote was for El Shaddai: Ascension of the Metatron.
You monster. How dare you?
It's not very good. It's got one attack button. There's no excuse for a modern action game that only has one attack button. Wheels is currently in the process of crying into his drink.
It's one attack.
However,
it's one attack button functioning as multiple attack buttons through various.
Yeah, but every freaking action game has one attack button functioning as multiple attack buttons, which means functionally it still only has one compared to 4.
But it's pretty.
Yes, but it's also really hard to navigate. We aren't having this debate right now because
Okay.
it didn't even. Like, aside from the fact that it wasn't actually released this year, it didn't even win.
And it was awesome anyway.
No, it wasn't. In any case, no, the winner is Ninja Gaiden 3 for Yosuke Hayashi being utterly incapable of any sort of actual action game. I believe that my initial statement actually said was going to put El Shaddai, but he's totally right, because Wheels is the one that remembered that Ninja Gaiden 3 was a thing that happened.
That's right. But I haven't actually played it. I've just read enough about it to be like, why would you do this to Ninja Gaiden?
Yeah, it's like they didn't learn from Metroid Other M.
Hey, but
No, we don't speak of that. Oh, dear God.
in their defense, they did cast Troy Baker as Ryu Hayabusa.
Yeah, but like they had him saying the stupidest things in the world. Apparently the Wii U version is better. I don't trust that because the same person that said it also said that Sigma 2 was better than 2, and that Sigma 1 was better than 1, which was insane. So we'll ignore that.
Well, I don't think we should ignore it. I think we should take it into consideration, but considering none of us have the beautiful Wii U quite yet, we can't really say.
Okay, when do I record the Wii U at?
I don't know.
Something about
But to be fair,
Okay.
that particular reviewer was not the only one that said this version was better. And I believe.
Yeah, I'm inclined to say it is because it has more than one weapon
Yes.
and an actual grading system.
And I believe other reviewers did not
On the
reference
other version.
that Sigma is better than 2.
Yeah. Let's move on to and reveal the winner of the first award while revealing the winner of the third award. The worst RPG.
New Gen Souls.
Yes, that's what Wheels voted for. I voted for a game that came out several years ago by the same developer and just decided that the winner is the company Compile Heart.
Yes, this company does not learn. At all.
Incidentally, Moods and Souls also wins Worst Ending Screen Award, too.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
I am going to find a way to make the album artwork for this show that ending screen.
Do you think we should insert...
It's not that hard. We'll figure it out
I'll figure it out.
later. Wheels, I do want you
we could
every
insert
time.
touchdown in this podcast?
Yeah, Wheels, every time that someone says "Moe," I want you to freaking cut in the sound effect of Travis Touchdown saying away.
All right, it may require some extensive editing, but it's worth it. Moe!
In any case,
Moe.
the less time spent on Compile Heart, the better, because, oh my gosh, they aren't even worth mocking.
Yes, I would talk more about Mugen Souls, but it also won.
I don't know. I think they're worth mocking.
It won more bad awards, so we'll get to it, and I'll go into why it is such an awful piece of crap, and why this company has not learned how to make good games.
And the answer is that no one has forced them to because they remain profitable. In any case, let's move on to worst FPS. Our voting was split here.
Yes. And I would like to explain my vote, but you start with
But
your vote.
only in the sense,
Oh, yeah.
I voted for Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified,
Yes.
because what the heck?
And
And I feel that there's no further explanation needed.
No.
What the heck?
If you have pay attention to the internet slightly, you will have heard that Black Ops Declassified is garbage. But
Yeah.
you may not have heard, because it is a much lesser received franchise, heard that Resistance Burning Skies, or whatever in God's name it was called, it's also terrible.
Resistance Firefighter Edition.
Yes. It was also terrible. And as it turns out, there's something that these two games share, and that is their developer. that is-
Nihilistic.
Yes, and that is why we gave this developer the worst FPS award, because somehow they managed in the same year to release two god-awful FPSs in an age where it's relatively easy to come up with an okay first-person shooter.
Yeah, it was.
we agree on
it's
that?
kind of tremendous the amount of the amount of work that went into being this bad.
Yeah,
Like, why would you? First of all, why would you trust a developer called Nihilistic?
I don't.
Let's put that out there, right where everyone can see it. Beyond that, this is something that General Sheridan's going to be slightly more versed in, but their entire output is a trail of tears.
Cheers. That was someone else.
Yes, but you would be well versed in making the lives of
I am
Indians
well versed in making Indians cry. Yes.
worse. But
I don't know what that has to do with first-person shooters. Oh wait.
but
But
their entire output is terrible. You may know them as about to fail to complete StarCraft Ghost.
That was them?
Yes, they were actually the first developer assigned. Yeah, they were the first developers assigned to that. Then Blizzard gave it to Swing and Ape Studios, who they then bought and proceeded to do nothing with.
Oh, dear Lord.
The rabbit hole goes worse than you realize. And in any case, now, in order to distance themselves from all these terrible things they've made, they only make social games and they change their name to something I don't remember.
Well,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
So if you
Being
like
punished.
if you like bare bones multiplayer, horrible campaigns that are really short, then buy these games. Otherwise, please steer well clear of them.
Wheels, I remember you buying Resistance Burning Skies.
I did. I didn't care if, see, this is the thing. I was okay if it was like a mediocre shooter with just some stupid online play, and it couldn't even do that right.
Wheels was not exactly asking for the world. He was basically just asking for a Doom clone at this point.
Yes, I really, really did not need all that much. And, I would have been happy with early Call of Duty level multiplayer. It couldn't even do that. Could not even do that.
And it's like, Resistance has even more of an excuse, because logically it was probably in development, at least a year before the system came out.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's not like anyone cared about Resistance to begin with.
This is true.
Let's see. So, unfortunately, more people got suckered into Declassified, which, from what I've heard, is actually even worse.
Yes. I've heard it is possible to complete the campaign in under an hour.
Yeah, the reports that I saw were if you're playing on normal difficulty, which for Call of Duty means Babby mode, you're probably looking at a campaign that can be finished inside of 45 minutes. And the worst part about that is, like, I had to play a lot of Black Ops 2. It's a pretty mediocre game, but I actually do know its story. And during that story, you don't kill the guy that you like. The guy that you kill in Declassified, who's not supposed to be dead, can die. So it doesn't even fit in the loose canon of Call of Duty Black Ops.
There we
Yes.
go. Sorry, back from the.
Yes, General Sheridan was pulled back from the time stream.
Got to be careful with that when you're time traveling.
Yeah.
It's
Our,
true.
our next award is a very regretful one, and it's really more about how bad of a port something is rather than the quality of the base game.
Yeah, I really feel really bad about giving out this award, but there's nothing you can do.
It's like, I don't even hate it quite as much as Wheels seems to, because I haven't played a ton of what it's based off of, but Rayman Origins 3DS is the most baffling port I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, it's just,
I don't know what frame rate it's running at, but it's like playing an MPEG.
it just feels wrong.
Uh-huh.
In every capacity, like, it's not even, it's the uncanny valley of, like, not realism, but control.
Yeah, it's just,
Almost works, and that makes it so much worse that it doesn't.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I would still recommend this to people if this is like, if for some reason, the only possible way you can play Rayman Origins on the 3DS, then I
Like, it
guess,
like, it
but
has all of the same levels, it
Yep.
looks pretty. It just doesn't, something about how it runs is wrong.
yeah. And
Naturally, we awarded the winner to be Rayman DS.
of course, because we would feel really bad actually giving Rayman Origins a really bad award.
Yeah, so we gave it to Rayman DS, which is a port of Rayman 2 from approximately 8 years ago.
But hey, that was also ported 3DS, which is not all that long ago. So,
The 3DS version is actually basically just the Dreamcast version.
yes.
But
yeah,
strategy game.
Oh,
Okay, we're moving on to worst strategy game, I guess.
And I did not vote in this category. My vote read as follows: F strategy games.
and I gave the award to Mugen Souls because
I'm not
That
certain it's a
loose-
strategy game, and I think he might be bending the rules there.
probably.
In any case,
Does it actually count?
in any case, what we
Use
essentially
strategy in any way?
no. But in any case, ultimately we felt the only fair thing to give it to was Double Fine Adventure Game Kickstarter.
That's
Yeah,
right. Wait,
yeah.
Because
what?
that wasn't a strategy.
That was a terrible strategy game.
Honestly, I can't even think of I don't know what strategy games came out that would, strictly fit in the strategy category that were bad.
Yeah, like the only ones that anyone remembers were good. Like I'm sure there was probably some terrible indie strategy game no one played, but I mean, no one played it and we don't know what it is.
Yeah. And, they're indie, so I kind of feel bad,
No, I don't feel
Piling
bad
it
at
on.
all.
No.
There's enough people laughing at the indie genitalia that I don't feel bad at all. But no, we're not going to dwell on that subject in this version of the awards.
But
Um,
can I talk about why Mugen Souls is a terrible strategy game?
Sure. It's not a strategy
Sure.
game. There's a good
Well,
start.
It's supposed to have, strategic battles, you got your party, you can move them around the
So the
battlefield.
winner is Herzog Zwei, is what you're saying.
So, you've got these characters.
Doom 2 for the browser.
So, it's like one of those turn-based battle systems. You can move your characters around the battle system. The problem comes when, for, I'd say, 95% of the battles, moving around your characters is almost completely pointless. Because most of their special attacks have very large ranges, and you're generally not starting very far away from the enemies. So, it's pointless. And even when it
This
does
is the
come
other
to
part
play,
of
it's
Wheel's
kind of
12-step program. Because Mugen Souls drove him to drink, he needs to confront it before he can stop.
yes. And
Well,
there's
yeah,
also the
that's-
problem where there's enemies, that you try and might move away from that have long range attacks. Basically, there was not a lot of thought put into this battle system. They were kind of like, hey, it'd be cool if you could move guys around, and then there'd be these special attacks,
Oh.
and then there'd be Moe kills, and And it'd be
We'll
terrible.
get into Moe.
Moe.
Kills
Moe. Moe. But, you know what? It was, the game was almost good.
I'm very curious to what a Moe kill looks
Moe.
like, because, I've got an idea in my head of what it looks like.
Well, General Sheridan, we've spent many weeks explaining what an anime is.
I think I know what an anime is at this point. I think it has something to do with the Japanese.
Those people from the Yamato. Wait, no.
Yeah.
But no.
Tom Cruise went over there.
Yeah, he was the last samurai ever.
He was last and demanded lots of sake.
Sake. But no, we're moving on because I don't want to think about puzzle games anymore. The winner is, of course, Angry Birds.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I voted for Mortal Kombat Advance. Wheels voted for Mugen Souls, and the only fair compromise we could come up with was Angry Birds.
It is basically the same thing over and over again.
Well, it's Crush the Castle, but for iOS.
And hey, Mugen Soul has puzzle elements. You got to figure out how those Moe kills work. Moe.
Yes, well, that's not a puzzle. That's a brain destruction.
Well, yeah.
Be sure to act. In any case, we are moving on to worst fighting game. Now, I considered Mortal Kombat Advance again, but ultimately decided that the true winner was Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Third Kind.
But what about Street Fighter X?
No.
No,
Nope.
no, Bubsy.
It's Bubsy.
Bubsy.
And so we declared the winner. Say what, General Sir?
I was going to say, what, isn't Sony All-Stars Battle Royale in contention?
No.
No, it's not that bad.
It's not as much of a failure as Bubsy and Claws Encounters of the Third Kind.
Well, yeah.
And thus we have decided that the winner is Sony Bend, formerly known as Eidetic when they put out Bubsy and Claws Encounter of the Third Kind.
I can see why they changed their name. I'm just going to
had
throw that out there.
A couple Siphon filters under that name too. No one wants to think about anything they put out at that time.
Not even them.
Yeah, suck it, Siphon filter fans.
Ooh.
Now this next award I came up with because I felt that there were so many people competing in this category. That's like so many subsidiaries of Sony competing in this category. That it needed to be recognized, which is the That'll Sell Vita's award. Now, personally, I felt that the natural winner was Uncharted Fight for Fortune, which, regardless of its quality, is an Uncharted card game, which makes no sense at all.
Man. I think, personally, every video game franchise should be made into a card game.
Phantasy Star Online card battles, sometimes eventually retooled into Phantasy Star Online Episode 3 Card Revolution.
Oh, yeah.
Captive augmented reality data. No, but Wheels went in the more depressing route and pointed out that Namco announced Tales of Hearts R, which will sell to precisely no one but depressed several people.
Not even in Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But ultimately, the logical way of fixing these votes was to just say, touch my rear pad.
Oh, yeah.
In the rear.
The only time there's been one touchscreen is two.
Except it's not even a screen.
We need to take a word from our sponsors.
That is true.
Sadly, those sponsors will not be that crazy Japanese company that's making a game where you molest an anime girl with both touchpads. Also, it's a card game. Now, you listeners may think that I'm lying, but I'm not. That's the real thing.
Now to our sponsors. Hungry Hippos.
Hungry.
Hey, if you wanna win the game, you gotta take good aim and get the most models with your hippo. Playing Hungry Hippos. Hungry Hippos.
Hungry Hippos is the name of the game, and whoever hippo grabs the most marbles wins.
Playing Hungry Hippos.
What were we on? These awards are making me depressed.
Yeah. These awards are not helping Wheels with his 12-step program. Let's see. We're moving on now to a flip side of the previous award, the "Why won't you just release it now, Nintendo" award. And we both went for different games that had been announced but pushed back past the holiday season for reasons unknown.
Tears.
I felt that the sequel to the cult classic Luigi's Mansion
Mario!
recognition. Mario! Wheels was on about some flaming strategy game again, and I told him F
Fire
strategy game.
Emblem? You be quiet, sir. Fire Emblem is like manna from the heavens.
I'm not going to ask what Manna from Heaven actually tastes like anymore.
Strangely, it tastes like vodka.
Or Europe, apparently.
Tastes like vodka mutini. But yeah, in the next part of our trail of depression, we move into the haha layoffs suck, but this is kind of hilarious anyway award. I personally voted for Silicon Knights, who currently has a working staff of 5 people.
Ouch.
Based on tremendous failures on their part. Wheels went for the more well-known issue of 38 Studios, but declared it to be just too depressing to actually vote for.
It was.
Therefore, I unilaterally declared the winner to be The Economy.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know if we're going to allow swearing on this award show, but fuck The Economy.
The Economy's just winning all the awards.
And also, shame on all of you for not buying enough copies of 38 Studios game. Shame on you.
Pretty good video game.
Very good video game. I hope someone buys the rights and then releases an inferior sequel.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But moving on, we move to the Biggest Disappointment Award. Now, I'm just going to say that I was not disappointed by many games this year. So instead, I said that I voted for Balto 3, Wings of Change.
Man, you were
What's
expecting
that?
so much of that game.
I expected Balto 3 to redeem the sadness that Balto 2 was and bring me back to the glory of Balto 1.
What was Balto 1?
Balto 1 was about a wolf. It was a 1996 Disney animated film.
Oh, I don't remember that in the slightest.
You know,
My choices for what to award often have no correlation to what the category is about.
Well, I chose
Yep.
Sleeping Dogs.
Because Wheels is trying to troll me because he is a giant dick.
No, but really, I chose Armored Core 5. Not because it was necessarily bad, but because it wasn't.
Why were
really-
you expecting anything out of that?
I wanted something more like the original Armored Core, and instead I got some weird online type thingy, which wasn't
There
really
was
what
never
I
a
wanted.
good Armored Core.
That is not true. That is not true, sir. I'm waving
any
my
case-
finger in your general direction.
In any case, I once again took it upon myself to unilaterally declare a winner, and my winner was Balto 4 will be everyone else's fault.
Now, I have to seriously ask here, were there really 3 Baltos?
Yes, there were.
And 3 video game tie-ins?
Sadly, no. I wasn't even talking about video games at this point.
I would incidentally, I would play a Balto game.
So would I.
It would be like a Tommy, but it wouldn't be too long.
It would be approximately the length of the film. Moving on to worst voice acting. Now, personally, I felt that the best way to go about this was to just quote something. So I quoted the classic NAM 1975 for the Neo Geo with, "Do I have to go back to the hell again?"
Yes, you do.
I thought that was from Call of Duty Black Ops too.
No, it's not.
If only.
It might have been.
Oh, it probably was. I just ignored most of the dialogue in that game. There was probably at least someone saying, "Do I have to go back to the hell again?" It was probably Sam Worthington. But, Wheels, read out your nomination.
My nomination is giving this year a pass because company's done good. Like,
Yeah, and he capitalized good. It was quite amazing.
yeah, like seriously, we are well
Wasn't
past
there-
the age of
wasn't the
awful
voice
voice
dialogue-
acting.
Wasn't the voice dialogue in Mugen Souls?
That was
Uh,
like the only point where it was decent.
Yeah, like
okay.
the only
It's just like the same cadre of anime voice actors.
yeah, but the only good part about Mugen Souls was actually the localization. And I really felt bad for them because I don't think they had anything to work with, but they gave it the old college try, so the voice acting of that is actually not bad.
Man, there's got to be something we can think of.
But again, given that I was the only one voting, I chose Nam 1975. Do I have to go back to the hell again?
See, I just thought that was some random reference to the actual war, not necessarily some random video game.
No, it is a Neo Geo video game.
So I'm going to give you the old golf clap for that. Well done. Well done.
No, if it was a reference to the war, I would have just said, like, Battle of Dien Bien Phu or something.
And that would have been cool.
Or My Lai or something. In any case, that would have been less cool. We are moving on to worst soundtrack.
Ah.
Now, I could not think of a soundtrack that I really hated this year, so I just went back to the old chestnut and said Sonic Chronicles, which gets it for, I'm hoping, the next 4 years.
I would say Evergrace, because I say Evergrace.
F off. Evergrace's music was one of the only decent things about it.
I don't know.
Plus, there's been a lot of awful music since then.
That's kind of bad.
In any case, Wheels voted for something actually contemporary, though he got its name wrong because that's not the one he played.
No, I did play that one.
No, you played 0.
No, I played both of them.
You played 2?
Yeah.
Why did you play that?
What?
Icarus 2?
Yes, I pre-ordered it because I thought it would be interesting.
Why?
We don't see that couldn't go.
I don't know. But, I played
Did you
it.
get the rape endings?
No, I didn't play anywhere that I found out that the battle system was basically
It's Dark Love, and
Rape.
it's the true concept.
It's a completely loveless marriage that involves marital rape every night.
What?
Don't like in
Oh dear
history.
God.
Yeah, Wheels, you dodged more of a bullet than you realize.
Well,
Um,
well, I will say that the battle system seemed to be a clone of Cross Edge, so I said, "Well, sir, thank you for trying, but I'm going to sell you now," and I did such. But
so naturally, with such, continue.
as with all the Agros games I've played, they have the worst soundtracks I've quite possibly ever heard in RPGs. Just like weird, awful rock-type music that is just terrible. So, yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
Worse
it's bad.
than Mugen Souls, which had a soundtrack that really wanted to be a Disgaea soundtrack.
That's not a good thing. Moving on, though. Naturally, with such split opinions, I unilaterally awarded the worst soundtrack. The award was Rolling Around at the Speed of Sound. And that was basically where I felt the award belonged.
Yeah.
Did any Sonic games come out this year with weird butt rock?
Generations was last year, wasn't it? So no.
Yeah.
Did Sonic 4 Episode 2 come out this year, or was that also...
Oh, wait, yeah, that did come out this year. We won't talk about that.
But did that have awful butt rock?
It probably just had Genesis-style Sonic music.
Well, then, not worth...
We'll move on to
probably
the worst affordable sports game. I don't even know why Wheels put this category in here. I just put, why do they bother?
I don't know. Because anything they put out would be better than the 3DS version of Madden.
I didn't know they'd made a second 3DS version of Madden.
Oh, no, they didn't. I'm still talking about the original one, which featured, like exhibition and practice modes, and that's about it?
Yeah, they basically put in, like, a third of a game.
Yes. In a game well known for its franchise season modes and all that kind of good stuff, they threw something out there they knew people would buy that was utter garbage.
I don't know why you bought it. I don't know why you expected anything.
Oh, no, I
out of
did buy it. Oh, don't worry, I did
Okay.
not actually buy it.
In any case, I felt that even though I didn't vote, I was going to decide the award anyway. And in the immortal words of John Madden himself, if they don't score more points, they can't win.
It's true.
Exactly.
That is a true story.
The
Very true.
team that has the most points at the end of the game wins.
Yeah. It's football 101. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know?
But
do you
sometimes-
know what time it is?
Sometimes they have the same points, and sometimes
Have to be-
they end in a tie. Which
Yeah, well,
actually,
if it ends in a tie, you can't win.
it's true. That is very true.
It's actually marked both down as a loss.
No, it's marked as a tie. But sir,
I
it is
asked
not
it-
marked as a win.
It's treated more like a loss than a win.
True.
Yes. In any case, let us move on to an award that I do in honor of gaming's true greatest villain. The Tobias Bruckner, We Hardly Knew Ye Award.
What is it, Tobias Bruckner?
Tobias Bruckner was a racist Civil War-era Southern general transported through time to a land of dinosaurs along with his hated Native American foe Talset. Upon getting there, he gained a cyborg arm and ended up riding a T-Rex with rockets mounted on it.
That
He was
sounds
the villain.
completely logical.
He was the villain of gaming's forgotten classic Turok Evolution.
Yay, wait. Yay?
Now, I gotta
Question mark?
say, as General Sheridan, I kind of wish I was playing as Tobias Bruckner.
Yeah, that's what you'll go as Halloween. We'll explain what Halloween is aside from Devil next week. But Wheels did not agree with me when I put Turok Evolution down for this. He put Turok for Game Boy Color.
I have that
There-
cartridge.
There is no Tobias Bruckner in Turok for Game Boy Color.
That's good. That's a good game. Let me tell you, it's a pretty good game. Get to shoot the dinosaurs.
Yeah. In any case, there was some argument about who got to declare a winner for this.
Wheels, you get to walk the dinosaur.
Yes, you do.
Oh, don't get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. Don't get on the floor. Everybody walk the dinosaur. In any case,
I think what we all agree on is that we really wish there was, a George Clinton game for the Game Boy Color.
yeah, George Clinton and the Goombas was the 90s greatest musical act. But we got into a bit of an argument about whether, during the awards process, about whether Turok had ever been good at any point.
It had been. You're a liar.
And I finally got the last word with, no, it really never was good.
No, Turok 1 on N64 was a good game.
You need to go back and play it, my friend.
No, I can't play it because now those controls are like utterly.
And the draw distance.
Are terrible.
And the level design.
Nah, it was good. It was
And
good
weapons.
times. It was good times, sir.
I think I own Turok for the Nintendo 64, but there's no way I can play it because I never want to mess with coax cables again.
We'll do that next time I'm there, General Sheridan.
Okay.
In any case, I slid this next category in at the very end of the voting process. And we agreed on this pretty unilaterally. It's a worst ROM hack. And both of us voted for Pony Fantasy VI.
That's a real thing.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's a
it
real
is
thing.
It is a ROM hack of Final Fantasy VI that inserts badly drawn sprites of cartoon horses into Final Fantasy VI.
Oh my god, did they change the frickin' words?
Yes,
Yes.
anything that says body has been changed to pony.
But they freaking rewrite the storyline?
Not really, no. They just
Okay.
changed names.
Okay, great.
Which is arguably more offensive because it shows a complete creative bankruptness.
Yes. Now I'm gonna talk for a minute here. All right. Now, I don't care if you like My Little Ponies. I like some random stuff too.
Stuff.
But if you like the My Little Ponies, you want to do something creative. Why don't you take a look at the Barkley game? Somebody loves them basketballs and love them RPGs, and they went and made their own damn game. They didn't insert Barkley into Final Fantasy VI and replace Terra with him or something. I don't know. Why would you do this?
It's hypocritical that I would actually just be okay with inserting Barkley into Final Fantasy VI and not with the pony.
In any case, the point remains that with Barkley inserted into FF6, I could at least assume it was a joke and probably be right.
Okay, fair. I'll accept that.
But this kind of thing is just. I don't even think it's that
This
funny.
is why people hate you.
Like, I don't know. I don't know. You know? With all
But
the...
now that we are
Hold
in
on.
the...
I am not done yet, sir.
Oh, no.
With all the effort required to change all that text, get all those sprites in there, get the sprites to work correctly, get the freaking ROM to work correctly, couldn't you have just inserted all these into that, what is that, RPG Maker thingy? And just make
That
your
would
own
actually have
RPG?
taken significantly less work.
It would have! I don't get it!
It was an ill-advised concept, to say the least.
Man, I bet if we scratched just a tiny bit below the surface, we'd find about 1 billion pony RPGs. The people
I
have-
do know for a fact that there is a Ponymon.
Of course there is. Of
Listen.
course there is.
But there's only like 7 or so horses to choose from, so they all just sort of evolve into weird versions of each other. It's fantastic.
Is Spore Pony one of them?
What?
Is Spore Pony one of them?
Sadly, no. It's not that self-aware.
Well, I believe that is our last bad award before we move on
Yeah.
to good.
Yeah,
Shall
we're
we-
done with.
We're going to start from the bottom and move up on this list because we don't want to move straight into the Game of the Year award, but we will start.
Whoa. Wait a second. Don't you think we should stop for a word from our sponsors?
Yes, I was going to say we need to give time for our valued sponsors.
Yes. And this time it's from McDonald's.
And Pringles.
No, just
No,
McDonald's.
no.
Okay.
Sales event. Luxury meets technology.
Welcome to McBowell's. Can I take your order?
2.
I'm really stoned. Can you repeat that?
2.
You want that supersized?
No!
Recording has resumed.
All right.
Doesn't that beautiful recording that beautiful, almost outdated slogan just remind you of the 70s and 80s?
What's the time of slow?
Could really go for some McDonald's right now.
I really couldn't. I couldn't imagine wanting to go for some McDonald's. In any case, in my time, your hand breakfasts have passed from history into legend. Moving on. We are going to start with an underrated award. Games not as bad as critics/fans made them out to be.
I love those awards because being a lover of the Kawazu games, I often have to make that case.
But in this case, it was a much easier distinction because there was something that just got unfairly reamed.
That is correct.
And it is Resident Evil 6.
Yes. Wholeheartedly Resident Evil 6.
So naturally, given that we both voted for that, I declared the winner to be DC Douglas, and then thought, oh wait.
Yeah, sadly he was not in Resident Evil 6, but Resident Evil 6, yeah, I by no means would call it a perfect game. Like,
It's a good one.
you know, but you know, it's a pretty good one, and it's fun. God, it's fun. You know?
It is fun, and I will tell you that it does multiplayer a lot better than RE5 did.
Yeah.
You know, it is better than pretty much. It's better than RE5. It's a longer game. You get more out of it. It's more fun. Hell, I even tried harder with the freaking story.
Yeah, that was kind of weird even. Like,
Yeah,
the story
I mean,
actually makes sense to a degree.
Like, the voice acting, they tried, like, hard. Especially, like, Troy Baker. I mean, seriously.
But we don't want to get too far into this subject because it's a little bit sad.
Yeah, but, you know...
So we're going...
But, you know, people sometimes, I think, expect way too much from Resident Evil and forget that, you know, the first game is largely famous for awful voice acting. Like, this is not a series that should be taken completely seriously. You know?
I mean-
It's just... I don't know.
Relax and have fun.
Yes.
In any case, we will be moving on to another award, the East of the Year, which sadly only Wheels could properly vote on.
Oh, sad face. Wait, but we
So-
skipped over the Japanese-only release of the year.
No,
but...
we have to read them in this order for it to work.
Oh, I see. Well, the Ys of the year is Ys Origin, being that it was finally officially released in English this year by...
So Wheels doesn't have to play his Chinese copy with English patch.
That's true. Well, actually, we're not going to go into the the details of that. But it is now officially available on Steam, and it is quite fantastic, with quite the fantastic soundtrack brought to us by the good folk over at Xseed, who...
And Nihon Falcom.
That's correct. Good old Falcom.
Given that I could not vote properly on this, my voting sheet is just stained with tears and the words, "Why don't you love me, Falcom?"
Yeast also wins the award for best franchise comprised of only 2 letters.
That is true. It's true.
But given that I was once again, for some reason, allowed to be in charge of unilaterally declaring a winner, I gave the award to War's song, "Why Can't We Be Friends? Why Can't We Be Friends?"
You know, I kind of like the Smash Mouth version better.
All of them work. The point is, the song "Why Can't We Be Friends" is the best East of the year.
Now, I have to ask, why... You're saying, why doesn't Falcom love you? But why don't you love Falcom?
I love Falcom. I've given
What?
them money. I've given them everything I can.
Then what's the problem,
Move on.
man? What's the problem?
We're moving on to the Japanese-only release of the year.
Okay.
In any case, Wheels was also the only one that could vote on this because I didn't import any games this year.
And this award will, of course, go to the remake of Ys 4, whose subtitle I always forget and never know how to
Ys
properly
Calcutta
pronounce.
Sea of Foliage.
See, I don't know. I've already forgotten it. So I just call it Ys 4 Remake whenever talking about it. But the important thing here is that the game is freaking awesome, and the whatever the subtitle is irrelevant. It took what was good about Ys 7, improved it, and let the story kind of back off a little bit and let you go off and, bash the skulls of lots of monsters to rocking tunes a lot more. So
It is also the third Ys game labeled Ys 4, but only the first one developed by the original Ys developer.
that's
It's
true.
mildly interesting in and of itself.
Good old Falcom.
In any case, again, being unable to vote on this properly, I merely wrote, "Why don't you love me?" And again, for some reason being allowed the chance to actually declare the award winner, I went with Falcom. We can still make this work. Call me.
Oh, they're calling you. They're saying, "Yo, dog, you get on those internets and you import this game because it is the shizzle for Rizzle."
I want to support Xseed too, though, Falcom. Why you gotta hurt me so?
Well, hopefully the what the heck did I just say?
Exxon Valdez.
Hopefully Xseed brings the game over on the Exxon Valdez. But given that the PS Vita is a giant question mark, I don't know what's going on with that.
Unfortunately, pouring yeast into the harbor is just as toxic as pouring oil.
Yeah.
But I'm also hoping now that Falcom is doing not an original game, but a port to the PS3, that some of their other releases will make it over to the PS3 as well, and maybe for the portable averse, this game will eventually make it to the PS3, because not only would that mean more people would play it, but it would probably increase chances of Xseed bringing it over if there is some question about the Vita version, which I actually, I don't know. They brought over some random Ragnarok game, so I would think they wouldn't have a lot of issues bringing this Ys over, but you never know.
But then it's a real question of how well did that Ragnarok game actually do?
That's true. They also did that random DS Ragnarok, so I don't know if they got decent sales just from the name. I don't know how popular
I'd
Ragnarok
be
is
sad if
over
that
here.
was the case, but sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't have access to their books. It's always hard to tell with these things. The only time we've actually heard them say games didn't sell very well was they've said it a few times with what the heck was that? Half Minute Hero.
Oh, yeah.
That DS game whose name is escaping me that was like a game show thing. Retro Game Challenge.
Retro Game Challenge. I thought was that Xseed?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, it must have been
People-
because
people-
it wasn't Atlas.
Because people, like, to this day are still bugging them about the second one.
Yeah, and like the sad thing is that they admitted like years ago that it would have needed to sell about 5 times as much as it did in order to justify bringing over the sequel.
Yeah. And also Legend of Heroes, but I'm still leaving the book open on that one because I think if they can get the PC version...
The PC version I could see them doing, with the PSP one is very much dead.
Yeah. But yeah, what I'm saying is, they said that didn't exactly sell great, but I think given that they've already spent the money translating it, if they can get the PC version out, that they can probably recoup those costs in theory. But, I said that after they release some recent East game of Steam that would be a certainty, and we still haven't heard an announcement, so who knows?
Xseed remains the little localization company that could.
Yeah, I mean, I believe they have like one person in staff that works on that, and inserting the text into the PC game would probably be a tall order, so...
A total pain?
Yes, so if it is happening, we probably wouldn't even have heard about it by now, so who knows? But, I'm going way off the track here.
We're all rooting for it. Let's move on to this... Huh?
Yeah. No, go on.
Let's move on to this next award, which Wheels gets to read out because he...
Yes! Yes. Okay. This is the Blink-182 award for immature content, but still awesome.
All right.
This was pretty unanimous.
Oh, hold on. We have to pause for a little bit of Blink.
Do you wanna come to a party? My friends pick me up in their truck at 11:30. Six at a frat house, the people are cool there. Reluctant I followed, but I never dreamed there would be someone there who would catch my attention. I wasn't out searching for love or affection, so I paid my 3 and the girls got in free. Shined the beer for tequila, and we headed into the party.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Say it ain't so, I will not go.
Oh,
Okay, I apologize for that, but it was required. Do you want to read off the winner?
I will read off the winner after we both read out our votes. You first.
Lollipop Chainsaw.
Which I also voted for, though I gave it the more Japanese-y sounding name of Roy Pope Chainsaw. And also...
yeah. No, I agree.
And also declared the winner to be Killing Zombies Gave Me Wood.
That is the appropriate thing to put for the win.
Let's face it, that was Suda51's goal.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
Hopefully he'll be a little more serious this year with Killer is Dead. Who knows?
Although it could still easily win this award.
Yeah, probably.
Knowing that it, because it's Suda51.
Yeah, but to be fair, there are some,
There are clever subtextual themes, but I would like to see him tackle something a little more.
There aren't. I'm not saying there aren't, but it can still be, immature. Touchdowns still immature.
Absolutely. This game is very immature, even if it may have some mature subjects.
Yeah.
Like I remember some random dude I saved said to Juliet, "I'm going to masturbate to you tonight," or something.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
It is quite horrifying, but at the same time, it's generally pretty funny.
Yeah.
And the gameplay is good. It's one of the best beat-em-ups I've played in quite some time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of I don't want to necessarily call it a dead genre, but kind of a genre that is usually seems to be brought back in retro games.
It's had a lot of trouble in the 3D era.
Yes. Yeah, like usually when you see something that's even in that vein brought back, it's usually something that really would be better described as hack and slash, but that really doesn't fit Lollipop Chainsaw.
It does not. And I've read some reviews of this game where they seem to have a hard time getting. I don't want to say that they. I don't want to, say what reviewers were thinking, but it seemed like they didn't really get that it was supposed to be like just a beat 'em up game.
Yeah.
Like where you're going to replay these levels, get higher scores and stuff,
and just sort of have fun with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have been cool to have co-op, but it works. It works very well the way it is.
Yeah, it plays well.
And it is quite cheap now.
Yeah, and it actually sold better than Suda51 stuff usually does, which is even sadder. In any case, we're moving on to the surprise game of the year, which is one of the few things that I deigned to vote seriously about.
I voted seriously about this.
Yeah, but I said suck it anyway. I voted for Sleeping Dogs.
Which I've heard is a good video game.
It's fantastic.
I watched it in action a little bit at Comic-Con. It seemed to be quite the good open world type game. So I will definitely play that at some point.
And just say it once had the name True Crime slapped in front of it.
Yeah, we really don't want to think about that.
Well, I would,
I don't know. You could devote an entire episode to True Crime.
but I would like to hear you guys tell me some of the awesome things about it.
Well, I'd just like to point out my personal favorite thing that I ever did, which is that I jumped out of my car trying to hijack another, but it drove past too quickly. So I just fired at it out of frustration, accidentally hit its gas tank, causing it and every car next to it to explode.
And you did this because your character's a hero and a police officer.
Yeah, Wei Shen is a hero and a police officer. But no, like it steals from a lot of stuff. Like the hand-to-hand combat, it's Batman. Like there's no two ways about it. It's Batman, but it does it well. The guns actually feel worlds more powerful than they do in most games, just because you get them so little and they do so much damage.
Kind of like real guns.
Yeah, pretty much. The missions are well designed, the cars control really well, the story is really interesting, it's just really well designed from all fronts.
Well, kudos to Square Enix for picking that title up.
Yeah, sadly it doesn't seem to have rewarded them. As far as I can tell, it didn't sell that well.
I thought I heard selling it. It sold
It
decently
sold okay,
at least.
it just didn't sell as well as they had hoped.
True, but they probably didn't. I imagine they didn't put a huge investment into picking it up, since it was already almost done.
I would hope we still get a Sleeping Dogs 2 because it deserves a sequel.
And this time the dogs will be sick.
But at least it seemed to be pretty well received, and in general, Square Enix's Eidos division has been doing quite well, and kind of doing some
kind
good
of what
things.
kept the company afloat while its Japanese division has no idea what to do with itself.
Yes, and so Eidos. Although, do they even really use that name at all anymore?
Eidos?
Have they completely wiped out that name?
The Eidos name only really shows up when you're talking about Eidos Montreal.
That's true. I forgot about them. But yeah, good on them for picking the title up. Maybe some people will buy it over the holidays to give it a few more sales. I don't know.
Yeah. I know that Wheels tried to vote for Darksiders 2, and I just overrode him completely.
No, I'm still voting
Yeah.
for Darksiders 2.
No.
Well, it didn't matter because instead of that I just said Sleeping Dogs because Wheels can F off.
Well, I will give you that award, but I want to talk about Darksiders 2 for a minute because I bought it on a random whim and expected to be like, ugh, why did I do this? And instead I was like, oh, this is like a game made exactly for me.
It's made out of mid-90s comic books.
And I thought it was pretty cool.
Wheels is a giant Todd McFarlane fan.
I love
Shade,
mid-90s comic books. I grew up on them, but, the gameplay was fun.
How many Shanes and Bats were there?
Lots, but gameplay was fun, better than the original Darksiders.
The original Darksiders is a very limp Zelda meets God of War.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah, it is.
That is very fair, but this one, got some more RPG mechanics. I had a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun with the combat so far, and I really don't have too much negative to say about it. Maybe
Clearly, Wheels just wanted more Diablo in his life.
I did. It doesn't really. This isn't like Diablo at all. I mean, I could talk about Diablo 3.
I'm just joking about the RPG mechanics.
Okay.
My favorite Darksiders 1 ended on a cliffhanger, and Darksiders 2 ended on the exact same cliffhanger.
Because they're basically the same story.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
In any case, hopefully that will be wrapped up in Darksiders 3 instead of just being another horseman coming to the same conclusion.
They're going to go through all four of the freaking horsemen, and then you'll finally get the game they've been promising since.
Assuming THQ lives, or
I could see someone else picking up Darksiders after THQ dies.
I really feel bad that this is coming out through THQ because I feel like someone not named Activision could do some good things with the franchise, and I really like what the developers have done with this one, and it's not original.
I can totally see EA picking it up.
Yeah, it's not original. You got to keep that in mind, but that didn't really bother me. I was looking for something, exactly like this game ended up being. So, it's obviously I'm not going to change your mind, but I would just say if you're kind of to just give it a
If
try.
you're looking for that hole, to fill that hole that Todd McFarlane's evil prophecy left in your heart.
Ignore the graphics for a second. If you're looking for a pretty good action RPG type thing, just give it a try. It's not that expensive now. And, you'll be contributing to, a good charity, so the THQ fund.
A nice charity case.
Yes. Because, honestly, I don't want to see THQ go under because I think they do some good things and, they also employ a ton of people. So I think it'd be better off if they survive.
Yeah, I don't expect them to, but it would be nice to see something actually rise from the ashes rather than die horribly.
I agree. So, please don't write off this game. I'm not saying it's the best thing ever, but it surprised me.
In any case, let's move on to best voice acting, which will be very quick.
Yes.
Yes. Although we can still talk about it.
A bit. But, Wheels, read off your vote, please.
Mass Effect 3, hot damn.
Pretty much, I responded with, yeah, for serious, ME3.
Yeah.
And then decided to just label the award winner as Shepard. Rex.
Oh, man. Mass Effect 3 has some freaking great voice acting.
Yeah.
BioShock lately has been doing a stand-up job of, voice acting talent, and this is just the perfect example of it. Great actors all around. Both Shepards. Either gender Shepard is voiced extremely well, although you should go with Femme Shep.
But hopefully we can eventually reach the point where the internet doesn't have to feud over them all the time.
That's true.
Oh, God, I don't think that will ever stop.
Especially if the movie actually just directly adapts the games.
Oh, God, is it still happening?
The movie is still happening. Let's move on to something less depressing. Best soundtrack. I just sort of threw away my vote and just said Jet Set Radio for some reason.
Well, you know what? That actually came out in HD this year. That is a current release, so...
Yeah, and it's also pretty decent. It's also got a pretty decent soundtrack, although a very weird one.
So despite your best efforts to just throw something out there, you have actually voted for something current.
Yeah, I actually did that on purpose because I've been playing the HD version on my Vita.
Okay. But speaking of Vita, I voted for Gravity Rush because that is an amazing soundtrack.
Still not yet impressed by that game, but...
Quite you. From the same composer that brought us the amazing half of the amazing soundtrack to Resonance of Fate. This same composer did the orchestral pieces in Resonance of Fate, whereas Sakuraba, did I just mispronounce his name?
Mototoi Sakuraba?
Yes, did all the Rocky battle themes and stuff like that in Resonance of Fate. So yeah, great composer, great soundtrack. Regardless of what you think of the game, it's a really good soundtrack.
But all I wanted to say was I had to actually fight Wheels to get him to buy Resonance of Fate, and we'll leave it at that.
It's a true story.
Naturally, once again, being given largely unilateral control of what to actually award it to, I just put DJ Professor K here.
And we have a side note as well. More games need to include CeeLo Green in their soundtracks.
Yeah, he sang with Muppets.
It's true.
He should just be the star of the game, and you should defeat enemies by singing at them.
Oh my God.
I kind of want this. We'll table this discussion for when we can discuss it further.
CeeLo's Great Adventure.
Oh man. Okay. We have to table it, or we'll get sidetracked.
I think this is a good time for a commercial break.
Yeah.
Now a word
I want to
from...
be a Toys R Us kid.
Yeah, yes. Now a word from Toys R Us.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. You got a man from Toys R Us that I can play with.
I don't wanna grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got a million toys at Toys R Us that I can play with. I don't wanna grow up, I'm a Toys R Us kid. They got the best for so much less, you really flip your legs. From fun to trains to video games, biggest toy store there is. I don't wanna grow up, cause maybe if I did,
back.
And
What was that?
apparently Wheels felt that we needed to have a Monster Hunter Clone of the Year.
That's true. Even though I think there was, well, in the U.S., I think there was only one. Wait a second, did Lord of Arcana come out in the U.S. this year? Was that last year?
I thought it was last year.
Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, it has to be last year because the updated version for Vita and PSP came out earlier this year.
Yeah, and it probably sucked too.
So, one Monster Hunter clone in the U.S.
Yeah, I played it. I played the demo of it recently. It was better than I expected. I'll
Yeah,
give you that.
it's,
We should stop beating around the bush and you just say what it is.
it is Ragnarok Odyssey from the fine folks at Xseed, and developed by, strangely enough, Game Arts.
Yeah, Game Arts does weird things now.
They
I
do.
don't even know. But I decided to just not take this category seriously at all, and threw my vote at Monster Hunter.
Well,
And being once again the one for some reason allowed to unilaterally just declare a winner, I
my
chose.
God,
Did
what's
you
this?
say Monster Hunter?
oh, you think that, but what's this? The award is magically changing. My God.
You can say that all you want.
The winner is Ragnarok Odyssey for being actually a different Monster Hunter clone and not just something, not just like Monster Hunter with some franchise copy and pasted on top of it. It takes
No,
the
I'm
same.
afraid the winner is still Did You Say Monster Hunter?
Well, fine. So Ragnarok Odyssey takes classic.
It's a decent second place.
Yes, it takes the classic Monster Hunter formula and speeds it up. It makes it much more actiony, and it's pretty fun. Just fair warning, the bosses are insanely hard, and you're going to want to play them in multiplayer, which thankfully is populated by a decent number of people.
For now.
For now. Yes, this is true.
Let us move on to the best fighting game of the year. This is one of the few things where we actually agreed.
It's true.
I personally voted for Persona 4 Arena.
I voted for Persona 4 Arena. Berry Poisonous!
Very poisonous.
I was going to say, I voted for Very Poisonous.
Yes.
And thus I awarded the award to Persona.
Oh, Teddy is so great.
It's bear time.
Atlas teaming up with Arc System Works was pure genius, and this even if you aren't necessarily a big fan of the Persona series, it is still
Which makes you a monster, but
yes, but it's still a fantastic fighting game worth checking out. You know, if you're just an Arc System Works fan. I haven't played the story mode yet, but I heard it's fun. Online's great. Lots of characters that are very different to play for the most part. But
Speaking of which, I take full credit for you eventually meeting Teddy because I got so annoyed when you played against me as Teddy. Like, I think the moment I started actually getting mad when I was playing against Teddy and you was the moment you realized, oh god, I have to be Teddy all the time.
party, we're gonna have a party. In any case, we will move on to the most passed over game of the year that is actually awesome.
it's true.
For this, I voted Persona 4 Golden because no one will play it because it's a Vita game.
True. But,
Well-
you know,
I will say this though, Atlas will probably sell around the exact number of copies they expected to sell because they seem to be very good at doing that.
They have an audience that, they made me buy a Vita for it. They have an audience that will spend any amount of cash.
Yes, and that is trying to, sell the super special edition for ridiculous amounts already.
The solid gold version. It's
Even-
not even got the best extras like you get with the Social Link pack, the original.
It doesn't, and I have to say that though the screen cover is awesome, the Vita case it comes with, unless you put in some extra padding, the Vita kind of slides around in it, at least it does mine.
Which is kind of a huge problem.
Yeah, but
Wheels actually voted for something different, though, because he's a heathen.
I'm not a heathen. I just didn't think it was passed over because it's Atlas, and the PSP...
Well, Brolancer is also Atlas.
True, but the PSP is like more passed
Yeah.
over than any system currently still putting out new games in the U.S. And so I voted for Growlancer Wayfarer of Time because it's a great RPG.
And the name Growlancer does sound like some sort of porn.
It does, but great RPG from a cool series that we haven't seen since they unfortunately put out what appears to be the worst entry in the series, or Atlas put out the worst entry in the series.
Is that Heritage of War?
Yes. As the original releases that came out here were from Working Designs.
Yeah, they did Generations,
then.
which was 2 and 3.
And this is 4, and I believe Heritage of War is 5, right?
I thought Heritage of War was 4 and Wayfarer of Time was 5.
No, it was reversed.
Strange. In any case, I chose that the winner was Requiescat and Pache.
Poor PSP. Poor Sony portables.
Yeah, well, maybe if they did some better work on them, they would not have this
For
problem.
Sony in general, let's face it, the company as a whole is doing well.
Fair enough.
Sure.
But the best non-Persona 4 non-port RPG of the year.
I mean, Mass Effect 3 again.
Yeah, I put Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
Wheels.
But wait a minute, this can't be right. Apparently, I'm going to say the last story, and I'm going to stick.
Yeah, that was weird. I didn't have anything to say on that, so I just awarded the game. I awarded the award to Persona 4 Golden anyway.
Wait a minute. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. But I really like the last story, and
Yeah, it's a decent game.
I'm glad it was officially released in the U.S., even though I had already imported it.
Yeah, I remember you trying to offload your European copy.
I did, and I think I sold it to somebody for, obviously I didn't recoup the cost, but I got a little back, and that's fine.
You defrayed part of the cost.
That's true.
In any case, the next award is the On Suicide Watch Award for no attempt to market a new system, which I just responded to with, "Come on, Sony, don't make me regret this Persona 4 player."
I'm not dead yet.
Saith the PSP.
Yes.
So
Well,
naturally, the award went to Sony.
I said that, which is kind of silly considering the PSP is like still selling gangbusters in Japan.
Gangbusters is not precisely what it's selling. It is selling better than the Vita, which basically means not dead.
It's just depressing.
The next award.
Hold
continue.
What I was going to say is Sony. I don't know.
What happened?
I know exactly what happened. Here's the problem. Okay, you may have noticed that the next entries in the Monster Hunter series seem to no longer be on a Sony platform.
Shocking. Nintendo might have paid for them.
I have to wonder why a company like Sony, which obviously has a lot of money, in theory, wouldn't pay a lot of money to make sure that the Monster Hunter series stayed on their system, since it seems to be what completely revived the PSP a few years ago. So
It is exactly what happened.
yes, so this award appropriately goes to Sony because seriously, guys, what the heck? I mean, you're gonna let
You just let Monster Hunter slip through your hands.
it's freaking Monster Hunter. Did you not see what those games were selling? I mean,
Like, these things sell better than freaking Dragon Quest games.
I mean, you might as well like close up shop and be like, all right, Nintendo, here you go. Here's the handheld.
We really don't care.
Yeah, here you go. Enjoy. I mean, it even seemed to revive 3DS sales in Japan, which were kind of
It
lagging,
did.
even after the price drop, I believe.
Yeah, once Monster Hunter 3G came out, it was just done.
That was that. So, you know,
Sony, award well deserved.
obviously Sony needs to try and find some game that can get the Vita to sell at least in Japan, because I don't think they're going to have any luck getting Western publishers to invest a lot of money in making games for the Vita.
Yeah, especially not after the savaging that Declassified took and the sales disappointment that was both it and Assassin's Creed Liberation.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Sony is really going to have to put his hopes in Japan. I mean, there could always be some, Japan makes good games too that sometimes sell over here. So if they can get some kind of hits on the system, maybe they can at least do decently here and, sell pretty decently and be an okay niche system over here. So, but it doesn't seem like they're really...
They don't seem to care.
No.
Yeah.
And
So the
it's
next award
a shame.
The next award is slightly more lighthearted. It's the Come On and Slam, Yeah, Welcome to the Jam Award,
Yeah.
which went to, for me, Hoop Sparkly 2.
To me, it went Hoop Sparkly 2 for Mac OS X.
And all I can say is that's the same game, but the award naturally went to, Hey, you, what you gonna do? Hey, you, what you gonna do? Hey, DJ, turn it up. QCD gonna burn it up. Get wild, lose your mind. Take this thing into overtime. Okay, we're done there.
Okay. Should I pause and insert some of that music in here, or was that...
Yes, do
Okay,
it.
pause. Okay, that's enough.
I had to break it to you, FDM, but I think you actually got the lyrics of that backwards.
Don't care.
Moving
That's just
on.
to give them a slightly different remix so that they won't have to hear the same song over and over.
You truly are the Vanilla Ice of this business.
Ouch, that's harsh.
This next award almost seems like it should have been on the negative awards, but whatever.
Yeah, we just kind of hated these guys just enough to put in the positive awards. So Wheels, you read it out since you put it up.
Well, this is the award. This is the I Hate Fans of This Series award for most annoying fan response to a game this year.
And since I did not actually pay much attention to fan response this year, I basically just went with the old standby and said it was Tales fans.
Yeah, I believe after Grace's F came out, there had to have been some response of Where's Vesperia PS3.
That did happen, I saw that.
This is an old game. Where's
Exilia.
Tales of Exilia, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you should play
And yet I was
awesome
the only
game
one
that
saying
just came
Where's
out.
Tales of Hearts.
Yes. No, I was also saying that, but mostly I was saying, what the hell, people? Just play Tales of Grace's F. It's awesome.
It's the best console Tales.
Yes, it is. I dare you to argue with me, people.
Yeah, and yet Wheels actually voted for something else just as an awareness vote.
Yes, I did. I voted for Paper Mario Sticker Star because fans seem to be complaining that the series is somehow magically moving away from what the original games were, despite this game very specifically moving back to the style of the early games, just doing something slightly different with it. But still playing mostly like the original games, so I don't know what they're talking about.
Basically, RPG
Oh, yeah.
fans suck.
So what? It's barely an RPG. I have this may be shocking news, people. The original two Paper Marios were barely RPGs.
Yeah, pretty much.
They were more RPG than this, but so what? Okay, it's
Much more RPG than the last one.
yes. Now this is without going into whether or not this entry is actually good, great, not great, whatever. But just that fan response without anyone actually talking about, positives and negatives of this game just really annoyed me. Because
So let us move on to something more funny.
yes,
What is an innovation award for bad ideas executed badly? Which I have given to Call of Duty Black Ops 2's ridiculous command a whole bunch of people that can't figure out where to move award. Wheels has a slightly more personal note because he actually cared about this game.
yes. I'm saying anything in Uncharted Golden Abyss involving touch control except for throwing grenades, which actually worked really well. Sony
Because
Bank.
that would just let you direct where the grenade was.
Yes.
As opposed to punching, which should never be mapped to anything but a button.
Actually, I disagree. The punching portions, most of the punching was still a button. There were just certain portions that were moved to
Remember
swipes,
that one point?
which the swipes I actually found to be better than some of the elements that were used in the console games. So I actually didn't mention that here. But yeah, anything not involving anywhere where the touchscreen was used, not involving combat.
It's used
so-
a lot.
Sony Bend, I like you. You did a good job with the actual good parts of this game. But, when I get a console with a touchscreen, cleaning off artifacts is not a mini game that I really want to play at all. Very often. So, if you get to make another one of these, I could really do without that and the random parts where you had to put together a puzzle.
Well, don't worry, Wheels, because all they're making is a card game.
You know what? Whatever. Whatever.
Let's move on to another award that I creatively titled.
But we didn't say who the winner was.
Oh yeah, yes. The winner was Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified somehow.
But what did it do new?
Nothing. That was the
Oh.
point.
Touche.
It was just a
Okay.
bad idea executed badly. But you managed to out terrible a Sonic GeoCities fan shrine from a decade and a half ago award for terribleness in the field of fan sites,
Yes.
Oh.
which goes without question to Operation Rainfall, because once you've got mild internet fame, you should totally parlay that into whining about JRPGs for an audience of neckbeards.
Wow. I had a more specific instance from Operation Rainfall, which was very recently. They promoted a big operation, although it said specifically not to spam. It was
The
clearly
very concept of the operation is spamming.
yes. The very operation of the thing was to spam Capcom's social media with requests for new Breath of Fire, as if these poor social media lackeys are somehow going to be able to help, or even know how to pass all this, up the chain. I'm sorry. This is a horrible idea. Like, these people make probably no money. You're doing something really annoying that, they probably get enough Mega Man hate on those social media things. And now you gotta throw Breath of Fire. I got news for you. Not very many people care about Breath of Fire. That's why the series went. Okay?
I actually like Breath of Fire, and I don't care that much about
Yes,
Breath of Fire.
I loved the Breath of Fire that killed the series, but there wasn't anything especially unique about the series.
It didn't kill the series. The series was just dying.
I would agree with that statement too. There are a lot of in the Japanese market. There are a lot of RPGs, unless if it doesn't do anything there, then nobody cares. I'm sorry.
So naturally, the winner of this award was Purple Rain,
Exactly. The movie or the song?
the movie.
Okay.
The film Purple Rain clearly showed itself to be above everything else.
Well, yeah, it's a biopic of the most important artist of the last 100 years.
Oh gosh. In any case,
He named himself the artist.
no, we're not doing this. We're moving on. Legend of the Never Going to Happen Award for excellence
He
in the
changed his
field.
name to a symbol.
Huh?
He changed his name to a symbol. I remember that. It's good times.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about Onks
Okay.
or the people who used them as a name. But the Legend of the Never Going to Happen Award for excellence in the field of vaporware.
Yay!
All right.
I split my vote between Bioshock Vita and FF10 HD.
You shut up. FF10
Neither
HD
of
is
those
gonna
are ever
happen.
coming out, and you know it.
And no, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. I don't know what the heck is taking so long because, all these companies are tossing out HD collections like it's no one's business, but whatever,
FF10
man.
HD doesn't even have a team. Same's true for Bioshock Vita.
That's kind of depressing.
In any case, Wheels, what did you vote for?
I voted for Pandora's Tower in the U.S. because, I'm sorry, there is no real interest for that game. Xenoblade, cool game, lots of press interest, got great reviews, lots of interest in that. Last Story, obviously Final Fantasy developers, a lot of interest in that. Pandora's Tower,
I still don't even know what it is.
yeah, I don't know if it's a good game or not. I'm saying this right now I want to make it very clear that I'm not making a judgment that the game is bad or not here. I'm just saying that there is no market interest in the game. So give up.
In any case,
My choice
yeah.
was The Last Guardian.
because that game's still totally coming out.
Sadness.
I thought of another one just now when we were talking about it, because it's a favorite topic of FBM's of mine. The Agent.
Oh, The Agent. Oh, sweet Christmas, The Agent's never coming out.
What the heck is the Agent?
Remember when Sony was desperately trying to steer the sinking ship that was the PS3, trotted out a Rockstar exec who said, yeah, we're totally making a PS3 exclusive game, it's called The Agent, and then never said anything about it again?
No, I don't remember that ever.
That was from like E3 2007 or 8.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And the best part is that the last time anyone ever commented on it, it was a Sony executive saying they weren't even sure if it was PS3 exclusive anymore. So yeah, naturally, with all of this stiff competition, the winner is the classic musical Annie Get Your Gun.
Yep. No, I agree.
What?
I mean-
That's never going to happen?
Yeah, sadly, the Vita adaptation of Annie Get Your Gun has been canceled.
I'm looking forward to it.
Hold on, guys. I gotta go cancel my pre-order.
We're going to be disappointed for months.
I don't know if I can go on with the award show. I don't
We've
know.
only got 4 more awards, Wheels. We can do this.
No, we have
So
9 more.
the
We have
No, we
9 more
don't.
words, sir. Yes, we do.
how do we have 9?
We have 9.
I don't see where you're getting 9.
Where are you
He's
looking
right.
Oh, frick! It wouldn't let me scroll up properly.
He's totally right. We've got.
You mean it wouldn't let you count the envelopes properly, because clearly we're tearing up envelopes to announce the winners.
Yes. The envelopes were like someone had stolen half of my envelopes. It was bad. We're moving on to the not enough awards for this game award.
Yes. Easy one.
I voted for Persona 4 Golden,
I voted for Persona 4 Golden.
and all we can say is no. Atlas has not paid us at all.
Really, this game was that good. Like, when
You'll find that it continues to show up the better the award is.
when people start raving about, a substantially updated version of a game that came out 4 years ago, that you haven't played even the original yet, you should probably realize that it's a pretty freaking good game, people. Go buy some Vitas and buy some Persona 4s.
Yeah.
We can
moving
wait.
on. Huh?
I said we can wait.
Yeah.
In fact, commercial break? Do we have any
Sure,
commercial
let's
breaks
do that.
left?
All right, yeah.
yes.
Commercial break.
Yes, freecreditreport.com.
Yeah.
They say a man should always dress for the job he wants. So why am I dressed up like a pirate in this restaurant? It's all because some hacker stole my identity. Now I'm in here every evening serving cheddar and iced tea. Should've gone to freecreditreport.com. I could've seen it coming at me like an atom bomb. They monitor your credit and send you email alerts, so you don't end up selling fish to tourists in t-shirts.
These aren't getting easier at all.
And we're back.
FreeCreditReport.com.
No, the commercial's over, man. Commercial's over.
Ian, General Sheridan needs to find out what his credit is after several hundred years in stasis.
Oh, man, I've got to have some back coming from the U.S. Army.
In any case, up next is the FPS of the year.
Ah, yes, this is an easy one as well.
I voted for Halo 4. Wheels seems to have voted for something that doesn't yet exist.
Let me explain this, okay? Obviously, I'm actually voting for Halo 4. But you see, the thing is, my friends decided that they wanted to call Halo 4 Halo 6 because, hey, there was ODST and there was Reach, and those obviously were 4 and 5, so this has to be Halo 6. And
So the winner is, of course, Halo 6.
correct. And
So-
I got really annoyed at them by this, and thusly, as this is also how I got my nickname, they continued to call it Halo 6 quite vigorously.
Okay,
So- Halo 6 wins, even though it's not out yet.
so should we call Assassin's Creed 3?
Assassin's Creed 5.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Don't
wait,
say
it's
that.
Assassin's Creed 6.
Don't say that. They might listen to this.
They won't. Moving on, platformer of the year. I voted for Super Mario 3D Land because I don't subscribe to Linear Time.
You're a monster. Clearly, the winner is Rayman Origins on Vita because it is not a weird Uncanny Valley version of the game on the go. It is a true HD on-the-go version of Rayman Origins, and it
Except
is
without any sort of multiplayer at all.
The game does not need multiplayer.
Yeah, but it would have been better if it had it.
It would have been, but it doesn't need it. It's still amazing.
In any case, the winner is somehow Super Mario Sunshine.
Well,
But
I wanted to vote for New Super Mario Brothers 2 because we want gold.
I want the gold. Give me the gold. But
Yes.
seriously, though, it's actually Jack and Daxter Collection.
That's cool.
Neither of us could think of a puzzle game, so I just voted for Eco HD.
And surprisingly, I voted for Eco and Shadow of the Colossus Collection.
But because of the fact that Eco got 2 votes and Shadow of the Colossus only got 1, the winner is that collection from last year
That's correct.
for best puzzle game.
Did any puzzle games actually come out this year? I mean, I think
Can't think of a single one.
we kind of phoned it in here.
Probably one that I'm not thinking of.
There was that, like, weird, it depends upon what kind of puzzle game. If you're talking about organization games, there was that weird, revival of the Magical Drop franchise on Steam.
That doesn't
I don't know
deserve
if I
a
can-
win.
In any case, we're moving on to strategy or strategy RPG because whatever.
That is the
No,
official name of the
no.
award.
I put forward my traditional award, my traditional vote for this sort of award, F strategy games.
Man, whatever. All right, clearly it was Disgaea 3 for Vita because that's an awesome strategy RPG. Or whatever, XCOM, which is actually a strategy game. But you know what? Screw all those. Devil Survivor 2. I was completely addicted to the first one, and then was obviously completely addicted to the second one. There's a great strategy RPG mixed with all that makes the Shin Megami Tensei series awesome.
In any case,
Fusing
the winner.
Hey, Fusing Demons, it's like a Pokemon RPG only with cool things
With
and
more Satan.
not little monsters, not little whatevers.
Little Monsters starring Fred Savage is Howie Mandel.
Oh my god, you know what else came out this year? Crap.
What?
Pokemon Conquest.
Oh gosh, no, we're not dragging this into the debate. The award was already chosen.
Yeah,
and
it's
the
true.
award
It's
winner,
true.
The winner is for strategy is for hookers and fat people.
Hey, I'm not fat.
The exception that proves the rule. You felt the need to clarify that you weren't fat rather than say strategy games aren't for hookers and fat people.
Hey, I gotta be honest.
But in any case, moving on, RPG of the Year, Persona 4 Golden.
Persona 4 Gold?
Yeah.
And the winner is, sorry, Mass Effect.
Aw. Sadness.
I want to see Mass Effect 3, but Persona 4 Gold is a better ending than you. Also, it has a better ending than you do. Way better.
It's true.
ending.
Don't go into the ending because
yeah.
Wheels hasn't finished it yet.
I was also gonna
the ending of Persona 4 is good, unlike the ending from Mass Effect 3.
let's
We'll
not
cry.
let's not do this.
Okay, in any case,
Moving on.
action
Moving
game
on.
of the year.
Okay.
Okay, Wheel should read his first because mine is a direct response to his.
Okay, my vote for Action Game of the Year is Devil May Cry Collection, because apparently I'm an awful person, and Ninja Gaiden Sigma for Vita is bad no matter what the heck. I didn't write this. I did not write this.
That's actually something you did right. I was very confused by it.
Oh my god. No, that is not. Oh my god. Alright, but whatever. Devil May Cry Collection.
Now I voted for the demo of the new Devil May Cry because Wheels really is a bad person.
Come on, I had fun with that Ninja Gaiden Sigma Plus. I don't care. It's not as good as Black. So what?
It's not as good as Ninja Gaiden Sigma even. It's a downgraded port of that too.
Whatever,
And
man.
that's not as good as the original Ninja Gaiden, which also isn't as good as Black.
Listen you, okay?
Yes.
Listen you. Until they put a Devil May Cry in the Vita, which probably will never happen, that's the best I can do. Alright?
Wheels is crying on
Believe
the
me,
inside.
And also the Devil May Cry demo was freaking awesome. I went from, whatever, to I have to pre-order this now.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to say my pick was Assassin's Creed 3, even though as an action game it pretty much consists of pressing like one button every couple of seconds.
Yeah,
In
that
every
was my
case, the winner is every Devil May Cry except 2.
honorable mention Assassin's Creed 3.
Yes, we'll put that there.
And I still haven't I haven't gotten Devil May Cry 2, but I'm going to take everyone in the world's word for it that it's
Yeah, it's really bad, man. It's
I'm
really
just
bad.
I'm going to skip right to 3.
Good choice. We're moving on to the coveted Game of the Year.
Bum.
I voted Persona 4 Golden.
I voted Persona 4 Golden.
However, Activision's money voted Black Ops 2.
For a game that originally came out, 4 years ago.
The best part is it was the Game of the Year that year, too.
It was.
It was.
But in any case, the point I'm making is, but unfortunately, Activision's money voted for Black Ops 2.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. We love Persona 4.
And we feel that it is Game of the Year, but Activision has money.
Yeah, we love Persona 4 Golden. But yeah, they have lots of money.
Our love for Persona 4 Golden won't pay the bills.
Do you like
Sure.
my hat? It's made of money.
Listen, those Vitas are expensive, We gotta pay
I
for
had to
this thing
spend
somehow.
money out of pocket just to get a Vita, and I was like, no, I need money, and Activision was like, we've got money.
But, psst, listeners, secretly, we really gave it to Persona 4. Don't tell Activision.
It's given to us by Bobby Kotick.
So as beautiful as these awards were, they must come to an end. For I have a meeting with a skeleton.
Oh God, no.
For he needs inspiration on talking about Star Fox endings.
Oh God. Oh, tell me. I'm
Good
gonna
Lord.
see if I can get on that too.
Yeah, I'll try to invite you on. Wheels, will you want in on that?
Hell yes.
Okay, give me a moment.
All right, hold on. We need to end this properly. Thank you for listening, folks, and we're going to leave you for some reason with the theme song to Animaniacs.
Yes.
Yes, that.
Frankly, hopefully this will be an annual thing.
Hopefully.
We'll see.
Perhaps we can even make more episodes that aren't Game of the Year awards. Because
Oh
this
my
is fun.
god, that's a brilliant idea.
Goodbye, and may flights of angels sing thee to thy rest.
Or may you find lots of Activision dollars.
Yeah. They're like
I'm
prices
gonna go
on.
buy a yacht. Goodbye, dear listeners.
It's time for Animaniacs, and we're zany to the max. So just sit back and relax, you'll laugh till you collapse. We're Animaniacs. Come join the Warner Brothers. Just for fun, we run around the Warner movie lot. They lock us in the tower whenever we get caught. But we break loose and the bang moves, and now you know the plot. We're Animaniacs. Dot is cute and Gag go yes. Wacko packs away the snacks while the butcher plays the sax. We're Animaniacs. Meet Mickey and the brain who wants to rule the universe. Could better squad together, sloppy waxing with a verse. But who's chooses Mindy while Rita sings a verse? The writers what we have no script but bother to rehearse. We're Animaniacs. We have paid for play contracts. We're zany to the max, there's baloney in our slacks. We're
Nowadays everything's so happening, but nothing comes out when I'm crapping. Snapping, turtle popping out, oh so snappy. Don't you act like you forgot about rapping.
Sims erection, grocery store, teach you less, ignore me more. Four on the floor, let's party up. See me on 200 retarded truck, driving around some pot I found, playing for all those hottest crowds. Sitting all night, wake up, stay crappy. Hate when I wake up next to rappy. So sad to see y'all blasphemy. Praise J, throw cash at me so rapidly. I make mistakes like serving vegans, sweet pancakes. I'm thirsty and I cannot wait. Every appointment I've been late, now anointed by the golden child. Freeze that pose and hold that smile. I'm cold while you making that ice cream. Can't believe you eat bacon and ice cream. And I scream like a deer in onions. I've seen things horrible and frightening, like the tightening of a butthole. Now you know we in trouble. Must mouth, don't want to look at it. Must house, jigsaw that granite. Windows, kitchen tops. Now listen, cops don't want no dildo pops or some phallic shit to lick on. Got my Cadillac and kicks on. Got those chucks so personalized. I can read through verse flies. I know you ain't great when you make me wait. Get out on the drop, you sense the hate and defensive trait. Look, I see you blame my Facebook on the Twitter. You bitter bitch, more than a litter of female puppies left out in the winter. Pinch your eyes with the winter guys. Shine your face wearing glitter ties. Fancy dudes so scantily new, making ladies get pants goo.
Nowadays everything's so happening, but nothing comes out when I'm crapping. Snapping, turtle popping out, oh so snappy. Don't you act like you forgot about rapping. Just took some ecstasy. Ain't no telling what the side effects are gonna be.
Hey, is Michael home? I need to record on the microphone. I need that beat with a type of tone. All taped up with a styrofoam that's soundproof. The round booth, the round sphere. To sound clear, gentle whispers in a clown's ear. I get paid, I have AIDS. I'm Big Willie, hand me a coat, I'm so chilly. Hamburgers and hedgehogs, they're both so sonic. Not addicted to chronic, I'm a fiend for the phonics. I'm hooked on it, I worship the logic. Praise the J every day, please live with me on my comic. I'll astonish the haters, #1 rapper with AIDS.